1. All right, everyone. Welcome to the latest episode of The Dancer's Beat. I'm your host, Brett Davenport. I am very excited. I have a special guest. Not only is he a dancer, a professional dancer, but he's one of my favorite colleagues that I get to work with at Shake the Ground in the Universal Ballet competition. Please welcome to the podcast, Daniel Ayala.
Thank you for having me, Brett.
Thank you so much, Daniel. And in this week's podcast, we wanted to talk specifically about dancers' wellness, health, and recovery from injuries, because you are now successfully on the road from recovering from an injury. When I first met you last year, you were dealing with that injury. You were fresh off the injury, as I recall. So, injuries are a part of dance. You guys are essentially athletes. What you do with your bodies is incredible. Injuries happen, they're unfortunate. But we just wanted to talk to you, and maybe your journey will kind of help dancers maybe prevent injuries, or dancers who are dealing with injuries, and how to better deal with that emotionally and physically. So, uh, specifically with you, what was your specific injury? And when did you first realize that it was serious and it was going to prevent you from dancing?
Uh, well, I tore 3 ligaments in my right foot, and it was immediate. Like, I knew instantly that
Okay.
something was wrong. I was in the middle of a rehearsal. I slipped. I was about to do a double assembly, and when I landed in my foot the wrong way. I remember I was laying down. I started laughing nervously, and then my director told me if I was alright. I stood up right away, and then he was like, "You should go and get ice." And I told him, I was like, "I don't think I can walk right now." So at that moment, some of my coworkers had to take me, like, pretty much up in their arms and take me to our PT room to get checked out. But I knew something was wrong because I couldn't even put weight on my ankle at that moment.
Oh, wow. Okay. And we should also mention you're now dancing professionally with Sarasota Ballet. I forgot to mention, which you are currently. I saw on your Instagram that you've had a couple of shows, so it's great that you're back. But what was it like at the beginning? Like, not just physically. Obviously, you say you know that there was something wrong physically, but what was it like emotionally, and say like the first week of that recovery when it really set in that there was a serious problem?
Um, there's a lot of uncertainty because with our job, if we're injured, that means you're out, and there's nothing that you can do really, especially when it's that bad of an injury that you can do. Like, I couldn't go and take maybe bar or like floor bar while like I knew what was going on. Like, I was completely off my foot.
Mm.
I couldn't do anything. I knew I was gonna be out at least for the upcoming shows. So it's uncertainty. It's a lot of stress knowing that the world is like moving on, and all of your colleagues are moving on, and you almost feel like you're getting left behind. And
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do because with a injury like that, not like, you need time and recovery. Like, it's not instant as you wish you like it was.
So what was that like? Uh, so you kind of, in a way, you're losing your identity a bit, because you had trained as a young person. When did you start training as a dancer?
I started fairly late. I took my first professional ballet class until not until I was 17, but
Okay.
from 17 until I'm right now 23, I got so like I needed to catch up. I did ballet for like 5 to sometimes even 8 hours a day, so that was all I knew. Like, it was ballet, ballet, ballet all day, every day. So definitely, like, when that happened, I also got into a headspace that I was like, oh my god, if, like, you know, I am putting all this time, all this energy into this career that I love, but now it's all taken away from me. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, who is Daniel outside of ballet? So that was definitely like, I started to get a lot in my head
Yeah.
about that because this career is so fragile, and uh, yeah, so uncertain at times that it's like you don't really have a plan.
You're right.
If you're not a dancer, like I got at that point in life, I was like, what am I like? How am I surviving? How am I
Yeah.
gonna go pay my bills if I cannot do this? Because this is what I've known for the last 5 to 6 years, like really.
So I mean that had to be really tough because it's like you said you already felt like you were playing catch up because you got started a bit later. I mean, some dancers get started at as early as 3 and 4 years old. Um, but you must have been a bit of a natural talent if you were able to start at 17 and then have a professional dance career. So, what did you do to like? I know you started working at Shake and UBC, but other than that, like, did you did you talk to people? Did you have a therapist? Like, how did you cope with like the the emotional difficulties of that?
I think uh, what helped me the most, first of all, was to rely on family,
Hmm.
my family members, because they're there unconditionally. They're in the
Right.
best and like the worst moments, and like tell them where my headspace was at the moment, and then talk with some of the more senior dancers, especially at my company, that had gone through injuries. Not maybe the same injury as me, but they went through similar like tough moments in their careers, and like they would tell me, it's part of the job. It's sad, like it comes with it. We're putting our bodies to do crazy, really not natural things to our body. Like our bodies are not meant to do the things we do. Uh, so it comes with the career. So having somebody that has gone through those things, like reassure you and like be there for you, I think that's like the thing that helped me the most. Having those people and like my family really. Um, I didn't reach out to a therapist at the moment. I think it would have been helpful for sure.
Yeah.
There was, I mean, also you go from spending, your everyday taking classes and then rehearsals from 9 to 5 to having all this time, and it's all this time that you get in your head too because you're not moving, you're not doing anything. So I think that would have been very helpful, but at the moment I didn't.
So that's interesting, and I think that's helpful for a dancer to know is that it kind of helped you realign with the important things in your life, like your family and
Yeah.
other people in your life. Um, when you started working at Shake and UBC, you were doing the social media, and you had a lot of really good ideas, and you brought a lot of interesting things to the table for us to try with social media. Do you think that was a byproduct of your creativity having to be funneled into something else because you didn't have dance?
Yeah. So I think I got what happened was I had to like make I had a realization, and I realized I had to make a little switch because after I injured myself, I was waiting on doctor's notes for like around close to a month. But then they told me I was gonna need surgery. And then I met my surgeon and he was like, this happened around November. He told me, I don't think you're gonna be fully back dancing until April, May. So I
Mm,
was like, okay, I have a lot of time
yeah,
that I'm not gonna be able to do what I'm doing. I need to find something else to do. First of all, so I don't go crazy. And yeah, because I cannot just sit around and be like moping. And I
right,
mean, what happened was unfortunate, but at the end of the day, the world keeps spinning.
right,
So I just taught myself, was like, okay, what are some things you enjoy to do? I knew I wanted to keep doing something related to the arts. I've always been passionate about social media, editing, filming videos, filming content. Like I've done it for my own personal brand and my dancing, my own career. So I was like, how can I apply that I love into another job? So that's when I got in contact with Lisette. Um, and I think, yeah, I think transferring all that, energy, that artistic energy and like creative energy into social media. was, I think, that switch. Yeah.
So that's another important thing is that, if a dancer is dealing with an injury and they just physically can't do a lot, like you were saying, it's important to maybe find some other outlet at that time, um, to help you kind of get through that. So you said you had to have surgery. So what was the, first of all, was there a time when you didn't know if you were going to be able to dance again? And then when did you start feeling confident that, okay, I can make a recovery from this and I'll be able to be on stage again?
Um, See, I feel like there's always, my surgeon was very reassuring. He knew what he was doing. Thankfully, there was another dancer in my company that had done the same procedure.
Okay.
I had the same exact procedure that I had in my ankle, and he was dancing again fully, um, and with no problems, no pain. So that was reassuring. There's always that fear that you're not gonna be able to dance again, especially in a place like it's my foot, like like I feel like every part is essential to dancing really of your body, but like at a place of your foot, we're using that to push, to point. Um, and the problem too is that it was not a bone, it's ligaments. So ligaments is
Yeah.
always so much harder to recover and to gain that strength and flexibility that we need for dancing. So I mean, after surgery, I think there were a few moments once I started, because after surgery, I had to do just PT. In PT, I was fine. But once I started taking the ballet classes again, that's when I was like, I don't know. First of all, I was so out of shape uh, from like the normal activities that I've,
Right.
I've done before. But there were a few moments taking classes that I like was questioning myself. I was like, is this gonna be possible? Because I was struggling doing the most simple exercises, and I was in pain. My ankle was still hurting. So yeah, there were a few moments once I started taking ballet again that I was like, I don't know if this is happening, but usually, like, I feel like, at least for me, I we tend to rush things, and when we're dealing with our bodies, we need to be a little bit more patient and understand that recovery doesn't happen in a day.
Right.
It takes a few weeks, few months to get back to the place. Yeah, for sure.
So that brings up another question I have. So was it difficult having gone through several months of not being able to do anything after your surgery? Then you have like a rehab physical therapy process. Was it, it must have been difficult. I couldn't imagine like calibrating, all right, how much can I push? How much, like, because mentally you know, probably, all right, I'm not, I don't have the physical capabilities that I did a year ago before this injury. I want to get back to that place. And I'm sure you want to, obviously, you want to get back there as soon as possible. But like you said, you can't push it too much because recovery doesn't happen in a day. What was that process like? And you mentioned that you had someone in your company that had a similar surgery. So maybe they kind of could help, got, with advice and stuff. But what was the process like, and how did you have to kind of calibrate in your mind? All right, this is how much I can go, even though I want this recovery to go faster. But if I push it too far, I'm setting myself back. What was that kind of like for you?
It's tough. It's tough because definitely and as dancers, we are often taught that you, what we do is not comfortable for our
Hmm.
bodies. There's always some degree of discomfort, and I don't know if I want to call it, if the right word is pain, but there's yeah, discomfort of the stuff that we do. Holding our leg like past our ear, or like jumping, or doing the things that we do. Like, it's not easy. It's not like
Or
something
stand
that,
like how you guys all stand on your toes, which
yeah,
nobody in
you know.
real life does that. You know?
So it's hard because that it's a little bit painful, a little bit strenuous on the body, but you need to like, for me, it was like, okay, I need to differentiate what's like good pain and then bad pain, and understand I had to like pace myself and be like, Daniel, you need to understand that it's little by little that you're gonna make the progress. Because if you push too much today, then that's gonna set you up, like you won't be able to dance for the next few days, and then that's gonna derail
Right.
your whole progress. So I think what I found during my recovery is that pacing yourself is like the best thing to do, not only recovering, but it at your everyday. Like you cannot be giving 150% every day, because you're gonna get to a point that you're gonna get overworked, you're gonna get tired, you're gonna get frustrated, all of the above. You need to know to pace yourself, to give yourself grace too,
Hmm.
um, and realize that it's little by little. It's like day by day you make little progress. And I feel like our bodies are very, like, listen to your intuition. Like
Yeah.
sometimes we just like ignore it, but our bodies at the end of the day know what we need to do and what we don't need to do. So I think I also started like really listening to my body and being like, hey, it's okay if maybe today I skip class so I can feel better, or maybe I don't do as many jumps or go a little bit lighter today, just so I could prepare myself for success and for a full recovery.
So obviously, you never want to have an injury, but do you think that in a way the injury, one of the maybe one of the blessings of the injury was that you became a bit more in tune with your body and knew how to listen to your body better?
Yeah, I actually have told this to lots of people, especially my close ones, and it's it's a weird way, but I actually think that this injury is the best thing that could have ever happened to me.
Yeah.
It's funny. Well, not fun. I don't know. I don't know if it's funny even the word, but I was in a place. I think physically, mentally, my relationships at the moment of the injury, I was in a very bad place. I was also, it was my first time away from home, figuring out adult life, a new job, my first job with a major company in the US, figuring out life, how to deal with, living by yourself,
Hmm.
all of those new things that come in. And I feel like I was going through a rough path in all of those aspects in my life. And then because of the injury, all of it came to like extreme halt, like my career. I had to come back home because I couldn't put any weight on my foot. So my parents had to take care of me.
Yeah.
So it was like a complete stop. It first of all made me realize to listen to my body. That's the first thing. It made me then fall in love. I was in training also correctly outside of the studio. Now I cross train and I'm so passionate about cross training, weight training, running, to the point that I'm like even stronger and like more in shape, more fit than I was even before the injury. Like
Yeah.
now I'm even stronger. Like I fell in love with also working out, how to find ways to even become stronger, and then my relationships as well. Like having that like pause and maybe that time of like forced time away from my career was like actually the best thing that could have ever happened.
It's interesting in doing this podcast, and certainly something that I've learned in my life is that is a prevailing theme that I come across, when interviewing people. David and Lisette talked about this. I talked about this last week with Etienne. A lot of times it's very difficult at the moment. It seems like a door is being closed in your face and your whole
Mhm.
identity is being taken away from you and your whole life is being taken away from you. But life, it's almost like a spiritual thing where it's like you want to be this kind of person, and life, when you're an ambitious person like that, when you have a higher calling or a purpose, life, I feel like, kind of shapes you in a direction, and it forces these things upon you, like an injury, to stop. And like you said, your relationships got better with your family and everything, and you learn way more about your body. Now you're training in a different way. um and those things wouldn't have happened if you were able to just breeze through and continue on.
Totally, I agree with that so much.
So tell me a little bit. So you're doing some different kinds of workouts and cross training and stuff that you weren't doing before. How did
Mhm.
you get introduced to that? And tell me a little bit about like what your routine is now.
Um, I got introduced to that because I had some extra time
Yeah.
on my hands, and I I told myself, I was like, I need to do something productive with my time. I cannot just be sitting watching movies or being in my phone for the whole day, like
Right.
time that I'm injured. So I decided to get certified to become a personal trainer. I started that course with NASM. That's like one of the biggest
Oh yeah, yeah.
schools to become a personal trainer right now in the US. I got certified with them. I finished that course and I wanted to work with a personal trainer to get even more insight. So I just got connected with an awesome personal trainer. I started working out with him, and to this day I'm still working with him. And now my routine looks, I take company class, like my outside of like I take ballet classes with my company Monday through Saturday, and rehearsals and times they change week to week. But outside of that, my cross training schedule, I do weight training anytime, like at least 3 times a week. I go 3 to 4 times a week,
Okay.
and I'm doing full body movements as like back squats, front squats. They're so beneficial for us dancers because I think there's a stigma that lifting weights is gonna make you get bigger,
Yeah.
like get bulky. But if you have the right nutrition and you're doing the right exercises, the right amount of reps, you're not never. It's impossible. There's so many factors that would make you bulky, but I'm doing strength training 4 times a week, and then also I run. So many changes weekly, but at least once a week I do a 5K. That's around like 3 miles.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, yeah, those are the things that I'm doing on the side. I'll like go to events here and there, like workout events that I enjoy also for the social part of it.
Hmm.
But my training, I would say, is the 4 times a week uh, weight training, and then once a week running.
Um, you said something important there, and I think it's a misconception that a lot of people have, especially women and girls. Like they'll say, "Oh, I don't want to lift weights because I don't want to get super bulky," and I'm
Mm.
like, "You're not going to.
No.
It's so difficult to, like, I had a pretty severe kidney problem, and I got down to like 140 something pounds, and that's really small for me.
Yeah.
And now I weigh like almost 200 pounds. It took so much work for me to put on mass, like the amount I had to eat, the way I had to eat, the way I had to
Hmm.
train, lifting more and more weight all the time. General weightlifting, I think, is great for everybody, and there's a lot of studies now that show that it's like one of the number one things that you can do for longevity into your later years, to be able to prevent, older people who fall, older people who just can't walk around and carry things, open a jar of pickles, things like that. Weight training helps a lot. And when I was younger, there was a stigma about lifting weights for sports because it was like, oh, it's going to decrease your flexibility, it's going to hamper your hand-eye coordination. And now they find that like none of that stuff is true, and it's actually nothing but beneficial for basically everyone.
Yeah, and the thing is, as dancers, we're very strong. We're very very strong dancers, but not that people. But if
Yeah.
you really think about it, we are always working at turnout position.
Yeah.
So the turnout muscles that we use are very strong. But when you go to the parallel position, that's where we are every single, like besides ballet class and when we're rehearsing and performing, we're not strong in those muscles. We are very weak.
Yeah.
So there's an imbalance there. And again, too, especially men, we work a lot in our legs, but in ballet class, we're not doing any movements to get strong in our upper bodies. This is also for women for a beautiful port de bras. So it's like, where are you getting that strength? And for guys, you're expected to lift a girl over your head,
Yeah.
to create lifts and partnering, but you're not training for that.
Right.
So what I found is once I started doing my strength training and eating better, uh, I'm I'm getting a little bit of muscle, but it's lean muscle. It's not a bulky muscle, and then I'm stronger. Like I can do really way more stuff that I could even do before my injury, and then you just look healthier and
Yeah.
stronger. So yeah, I love the gym. I think it's beneficial. I think every dancer, girl and boy, should be doing that.
Yeah, and I think mentally too. It's just
Oh, yeah.
it's great. I find that like if it gets to be around like 11 o'clock in the morning and I haven't gone to the gym yet or done anything, you know, anxiety or like extra energy starts kicking in, and it's like, all right, go do something now. So I'm glad I have that. So weight training is not really something that's discussed in like dance training and ballet training early on. That's something you came across on your own.
Yeah, I feel like there's more and more people trying to turn down the stigma about weight training and dancers and show the positive impacts. I feel like it's being talked more now than
Okay.
it was. I feel like there was a stigma that like lifting weights will make you more bulky and lose flexibility, but to be honest, like I lift weights, I haven't lost any flexibility. I'm still as flexible and limber as I was before. And there is more people talking about it, making sure that dancers understand the importance of it. I think still could be something we can work as a community, to make it more less of a stigma and like
Yeah.
make sure that younger dancers realize that it's good as
Yeah.
long as like, you're following a right program and um, have good people by your side that understand also the demands of ballet and stuff. Like it's a great thing for dancers. Yes.
Yeah, it like you said, it only helps basically anybody who is in athletics of any kind. It only helps. Um, so did you add any like supplements or anything? Did you start doing stuff like that?
Uh, for food, do take I take creatine every day. I
Okay.
take
Yeah, me too.
10 milligrams of creatine every day, and then I mean sometimes I'll do a protein powder, but I try to get like if I can get my protein from like Whole Foods,
Right.
non pro, I'll like prioritize that. As far as like diet, I try to like eat a very high protein diet,
Hmm.
um, carbs to keep me full and give me energy, and just keep processed foods to like to the minimum. I mean, it's inevitable. I'll still give myself some treats every here and then, but just
Yeah,
try to have a like as clean of as the diet as possible.
and probably with your activity levels, like some extra calories from treats and stuff like that's not a big deal.
Not a big
Um,
deal.
and it's also like, doing shake and UBC, like traveling as much as we travel and everything. I've tried to like come up with different like like routines and packing food and doing all this. There's no way to get around to like
It's
eating
yeah, it's
some
very.
unhealthy food when you're traveling as
Mhm.
much as we do. So, um, and then what about sleep? Did you start? Were you did you always sleep well? Did you start prioritizing sleep? Did you?
I've never had a problem with sleep.
Oh, okay,
Uh,
good.
I've always known that sleep is so important for recovery. Uh, as dancers, we need sleep. I mean, everyone needs sleep, but
Yeah.
especially because we're putting ourselves through so much work and stress during the day. Sleep is a very important part of my day. Um, I've never had a problem with it, but now because of all like my day, and I try to go to the gym before work,
Hmm.
before I start at the ballet company, because I find myself that if I wait to go after, I usually won't go because I'm just so tired from all the rehearsals. So I try to get at least 7 to 8 hours a day, just so I'm like ready the next day. But I'm in bed usually if it's a weekday. I'm in bed by 9:30, latest 10. so I can be up next morning so I can go to the gym early before class.
Yeah, that's good. Not up late at night doom scrolling or anything like that.
I mean, every once in a while, I
Yeah.
wouldn't say that's perfect. Every once in a while, I'll do that, but I try to prioritize sleep and go to bed early.
So it sounds like we were talking earlier about how this injury, you said in a lot of ways, it's one of the best things that has happened to you. All this stuff you're talking about, like prioritizing nutrition, you said you always slept well, but now even more so, the personal training certification, none of that stuff probably would have come across, would have come to into your purview if you had not had this injury, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think it also having the opportunity to do something related to dance but different, like my opportunity to work with UBC and Shake the Ground while I was away, it opened up my eyes because I feel like there's also this thing that happens with dance. We dedicate, and like a lot of us dedicate so much time, so much effort into our career. And there's maybe some dancers, that get injured and cannot dance no more, or maybe they just lose the spark and they don't want to, like, really, they don't want to dance anymore. But the pressure of, you spend so much time into this, uh, to just let it all go. There's so much more life and so much more things outside of the dance world. And even if you want to keep connected to the arts, there's also so many other ways that you can be involved
Hmm.
beside the dancing. So I think that was like a main thing, that it opened up my eyes to so many other things I could do, even related with dance. And then it also made me realize that if I want to be a good performer, a good dancer, I also have to be a healthy human,
Yeah.
have healthy relationships, healthy habits. Because if I'm not building myself, like my mind, my persona first, then, I can maybe be doing wonderful on stage, but that's just a part of me. So it's like you have, like, it also opened up my eyes that I have to invest in my personal growth in order to not only achieve what I want, but be happy while I'm doing that.
Right. So it's pretty admirable that you took this thing that is like completely devastating to a young dancer, especially at the stage you were at in your career, and you really allowed yourself to learn and grow from it. And it sounds like you've become much more well-rounded. You've prioritized things that you maybe hadn't, maybe neglected a little bit or hadn't been keeping an eye on. So I think this conversation is great for a young dancer because you're kind of a living example of to, how to deal with something like this. So I think that's really commendable to you. You know that
Thank you. I
was it
appreciate it.
difficult though, um, because for people who don't know, Daniel and I sit next to each other during the competitions while I announce the dances and Daniel plays the music. We watch like hundreds of dances a day. Was that hard, not being able to be like who you normally are physically and to sit there and watch dance, or was it inspiring? What was that like?
It was interesting. I think there was a very cool thing because I mainly train in ballet. I didn't do, I did a little bit of contemporary here and there, but mainly my training was in ballet. So, especially with Shake the Ground, seeing all these dances in different styles, hip hop, contemporary, acro, jazz, that I'm not normally used to, was so fun. I was having so much fun sitting and then again in ballet and watching younger dancers excel at what they do, and like just so much love and passion. Because at the end of the day, when I competed, you usually compete, you might watch your classmates here and there, but you're not really watching the other
Right.
people. You're just so focused on yourself. So like being there as, like, I'm not an audience, I'm part of the staff, but I'm watching everything.
Yeah.
made me realize, I don't know, like it inspired me, to be honest,
Oh, that's cool.
because I couldn't do it, but I was getting inspired for so much love, so much passion and dedication from all these young dancers that love dance, and like made me realize I was like, I love this too. Um, and it almost motivated me, like when I was back at home, working in my class, to like even work harder so I could be back on stage again. So yeah, no, I think I loved it. I was motivated. It never like made me sad or anything. I think it just made me miss it a little bit even more to work even harder.
So, I mean, it was an overall positive experience, which is another commendable thing because a lot of people could be sitting there going, "What am I doing here? Like, I'm sitting here watching people dance. I'm not getting to dance." But you're saying that it actually propelled you to be even
Oh
more
yeah,
passionate.
yeah, it's that energy. I feel like when you're young and you're in the process of getting to that professional level, there's so much hunger, so much energy that I feel like, at least at me, I find that contagious. And also seeing other styles of dance, just all of that made me realize what a beautiful art form
Yeah.
is that we have in front of us. And just wanted like I just wanted to get back even like stronger to be able to do those things soon enough. So yeah, that was, I loved my experience, yeah, working there.
So how long was it after your surgery until your first performance?
My first performance wasn't until October.
Okay.
uh, so it's just been a few months till now. But yeah, my surgery, I injured myself at the end of November. I end up having surgery mid December. I didn't take my first ballet class until around March, and that was very basic. Like I was doing baby exercises, very short, very simple. To be honest with you, I didn't really start feeling like myself in dancing until June or July. I
Okay.
was very lucky. I was able to go back home to my studio. I was able to take class with them and take the time to really focus on getting back into shape with no pressure. But yeah, June, July was the time that I was like, okay, I'm fully back. I'm strong again. And then first show was not until October.
So when did the discussion start about you with your company about I I I can I feel comfortable and I want to like start really performing again?
So how most ballet companies work in the US, we don't work year round. Our season, it varies from company to company. But with my company, it starts in August,
Okay.
uh, and it goes all the way to April. So when they told me that I was gonna not be back fully dancing until April, uh, we knew that I was done for the rest of the season. So I didn't get the chance to perform at all my first season with the company. I knew I was done. So as soon as they told me that, I knew I had to work to get back into dancing next season. That I had the summer break to get really strong, and then once we started back in August, September, be ready to start rehearsing for the new season. But yeah, I knew I wasn't gonna dance at all for that whole first season I was hired there.
So that's great that you had a company that was so supportive and
Oh yeah,
held a space
I
for
mean,
you in a way.
they provided me with physical therapy. They were very understanding. My directors, really, they were so extremely understanding, so nice. I know that's not a case for a lot of dancers sometimes in this industry, but having that reassurance that they're there for you and to help you was extremely helpful as well, because I didn't have to worry on top of being injured to maybe having to look for another job. So having that like certainty that they were there to help me, was extremely helpful.
So what was it like So nearly a year from your injury till performing again professionally. Um, what was it like being on stage again for the first time after everything you had been through?
It was it was a very surreal moment. It was very um, emotional. Also, it was very fun because it was my debut with the company after being with them for 2 seasons. So that like you usually don't hear people saying I'm debuting with the company after 2 seasons. You usually debut after being with a month with the
Yeah,
company. Uh, but it was very fulfilling as well, and made me so grateful for like the whole journey and all the people that were there along the way to help me get back to dancing and doing what I love the most. And it just it makes you realize that if you have a good group of people that are there supporting you and you want things, like things happen. If you're grateful about the people and the stuff that comes into your life and you put in the work and you know just keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, you get results. So it was like that. Hey, like I did it. I got injured. I had a rough couple months, but I got through it. And but I didn't get through it alone. Like I had a
right.
sea of people behind my back pushing me every day to get back to doing what I love.
Well, that's awesome. And so I imagine that during your injury and the recovery, your main goal and only goal is to be healthy again and to be dancing again. When
Mhm.
did you, or are you at a point now where you're again starting to think about, okay, I'm healthy, I'm strong, and now I have other goals in mind. I have other sites that I've set my eyes on. Are you at that place now where you're once again thinking about where you want to go and how you want your career to develop? Do you feel like you're fully recovered, like mentally and emotionally from the injury?
Yeah, I think at this point, I physically I'm at a way better place. Physically and mentally now, way better place than I was. Um, this injury made me mature quickly,
Hmm.
uh, because I had to deal with things myself, not expect somebody else to deal things with me for me and like solve the problems. Um, and I think I'm dancing strong. No, I know I'm dancing stronger than I was even before the injury. And I'm at a place now that I know I want to keep dancing. I mean, I just started really with my professional career. I want to keep getting better though. Like it's not now for me. It's not okay. I made it. I'm a professional. It's game over. No, it's now like every day, like going to the studio, learn, keep getting better at my craft. But it also made me realize that I want to do some things outside of dancing. Right now, everything's. I'm on the startup like baseline of what I would like to do because I would like to do something that's still related with dance, still related with who I am, like as a person, but maybe try to incorporate some fitness, personal growth with dancing. It's everything. Like right now, I'm just thinking about it, but I would like to do something besides my dancing career, but still connected to the dance in the future, for sure.
Well, I mean, I think you're in a unique position in the sense that you're a professional dancer who's recovered from an injury, and then during that recovery, you went and got a personal training certification, and you are a living, breathing example of how to recover, the weight training, all that kind of stuff. So you are in a unique position to be able to do something with that if that's ever something you wanted to do, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so am I gonna are you gonna be at Shake and UBC this year? Am I gonna get to work with you this year, or are you gonna be too busy?
I'll probably won't be as much, um, since I mean my schedule with the company can get a little hectic, especially when we're in season. I'll try to be there maybe 1 or 2 cities if the schedule doesn't conflict. But I would love to. Really, I miss everyone in UBC Shake. working with you guys was really, I think, one of the best things that happened to me as well during those few months that I was off from dancing. It kept me, I think, sane and happy to see like the crew and staff and seeing the dancers every weekend. So I'm trying.
Well, I'm glad it was nice to see in your social media that you were like performing again, because I remember seeing you last year when you like kind of limping around and you were going through it. Um, it'd be great to have you there, but I'm happy for you that you're doing okay. So I think you've said a lot of great things, and again, I think it's admirable how you've dealt with this journey. But if there's a dancer out there who is dealing with an injury like you have, what a little summary of the advice that you would give to someone who is going through a hard time with that right now?
My first thing would be don't hide it, uh, because it's not worth it. Again, there's life outside of your ballet career.
Okay.
Your ballet career is not your life. Like your whole life, it cannot be. You have to put your body, your health first. So that's the first thing I would say to a dancer that's dealing with an injury. Don't hide it. Deal with it. Um, Make sure you have a strong support system. If it's not family, have one. At the end of, you need one person really to be in your corner, because it's not going to be easy mentally, physically. It's not an easy journey. So having somebody that you can rely on, it's very important. And then to learn to give yourself grace and pace yourself in the recovery process, because it's the small improvements every day that's going to make you get better. It's not trying to accomplish a bunch in one day only and then regretting it for the next, like the rest of the week. So I would say deal with it, don't hide it, have a good support system, and pace yourself.
All right.
And also to understand that it also like happens. It's part of it. It's not you're we're just athletes performing at a high level. It's sometimes just bound to happen.
Yeah, and again, this is another podcast, and as I've said in my experience with life, is that you know tragedy, difficulty, setbacks can, if you're open and you can, somehow put yourself in a positive state of mind as best as possible, and you look for the blessings in those situations, they really can shape you into a better version of yourself who's more equipped to deal with difficulties in life, difficulties in your dance career, and to make you a better artist and a better person. And I think you're a shining example of that, Daniel. So thank you for taking the time to be on the podcast. You're one of my favorite. I love all my coworkers, but you're one of my favorites, I must say. And I appreciate you doing this, and I appreciate you sharing the wisdom and being so open and vulnerable about your journey.
Thank you, Brett. I appreciate it. Love my time here.
All right, everyone. This has been this week's episode of the Dancers Beat podcast. It's been an honor to talk with my friend, colleague, and professional dancer at the Sarasota Ballet, Daniel Ayala. He's offered some great words of wisdom about how to recover, how to become better from it, how to grow from it. And yeah, it's been great. So Daniel, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the Dancers Beat.